Let's talk about Virginia Tech prediction real quick as we get into the final part of the show. As we're talking about Virginia Tech preview, and then we're going to give you our picks against the spread. So we got number 3, Clemson Tigers, 8-1 overall, 7-1 in the conference. Final conference game, as you know, that last game was the final home game. This is the final regular season conference game because we're going to go ahead and say that because nobody wants to play Florida State. Florida State doesn't even want to play. I know you're saying it was just postponed, Morgan. No, they don't want to play. We get it. They've already made a point. They don't want to play. So we don't want to play them either. So this is the final regular season game as far as I'm concerned. Now, if something were to happen and they pay their way and also travel to Clemson, you know what? Not gonna hate on them. Not gonna hate on them. But they only can play with 7 players. That's the rule. Against us. Full team with us, 7 players for them. All right, so Clemson versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, a team that I was high on preseason, doing really well in the running game, not so well everywhere else. Defense has kind of stepped back, 463 yards allowed per game. Offense can score big time, 450 yards per game, but primarily through the running game, 250 yards rushing, and Khalil Herbert, a transfer there, doing great, almost a 1,000-yard rusher for him with 6 touchdowns. It's going to be in Blacksburg. Right now, the spread is minus 22 at Lane Stadium, 7:30 p.m. So it's not a morning game, not a noon game, not an 11 a.m. game, not a 3:30 game. This is actually a night game for the Tigers finally. But again, kind of bittersweet because of COVID. I don't know how many fans they're going to have, but last game I saw there, they only had 1,000. And so it's just not the same when you play in Lane Stadium at night. Last time I remember Clemson going there, it was a packed house and Clemson beat them. I want to see that again. Right now, Clemson ESPN's Football Power Index has 87.2% chance of winning for Clemson, 12.8% chance for Virginia Tech. And I've got down here, Virginia Tech didn't play last week. The game before that, go figure, they played Pittsburgh. Guess what the score was? They got destroyed, 41-17. So this team cannot beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh locked them down in the running game. Remember how we talked about that? Locked down their running game. It was at Pitt. It wasn't at Virginia Tech. But Pittsburgh shut them down. They had no rushing touchdowns. And Trevor Lawrence looks good. Clemson's defense is getting healthier. Again, I will mention I would love to see Travis Etienne get more rushing yards per game. It really goes back to the fact that I was wanting him to win the Heisman Trophy. And he would need to have more than 150 yards per game. I know that's way out the window by now. But I want to see him chew up some ground as well. But Clemson has proven that they can do more with him in the passing game, and they don't need a fully, power running game to be able to blow people out. And so the minus 22 looking a lot better for my eyes considering what happened to me last weekend. The one time that I pick against them, they, show me up. But what are your guys' rapid reactions here? Obviously, I'm thinking Clemson needs to prepare for a heavy dose of the run from Hooker and from Herbert. But I think considering that Clemson's getting healthier on defense and showing out the way they did against Pittsburgh, and the fact that Virginia Tech could not handle Pittsburgh, really bodes well for Clemson in that 22-point spread.
Yeah, look, I mean, like you said, they're really good at running the ball. They're 8th in rushing offense in the country, but they're 99th in passing offense, okay? Look, the stat sheet may not show it this year due to injuries and COVID, but a healthy Clemson defense is not 29th in total rushing defense as they're ranked right now. I think we all understand that. Tyler Davis being gone has attributed to a huge part of that, and the 3-man front has also hurt us in that. James Skowski being on, another big hit to Clemson. A lot of DBs have been injured throughout the year. All those things have contributed to Clemson not being ranked as highly as they should be in running defense. I think they should be or rushing defense. They should be what? I don't know, top 15, something like that. I think it's pretty not going to say, it's not like they have the Power Rangers right now and, be top 5 or anything like that. But I think top 15 is pretty reasonable there. And if you can only rush against Clemson, you can't do anything against Clemson. Okay, that's been proven time and time again. Brent Venables will sell out to stop the run. When he's got a healthy, full coverage on the defense, which he does, he'll be able to stop the running game. I have no doubts about that. He'll be able to stack the box, put his corners kind of on an island, bring his famous blitzes, and it's going to make for a long night for the Hokies. Virginia Tech on defense, they're 95th in total defense. Although, hey, earlier this year they were affected by COVID a lot too. They had a bunch of players out in the beginning, so I mean there's something to be said there. Um, but it doesn't bode well for Trevor Lawrence in the home stretch of a potential Heisman campaign when they're 95th in total defense. Yeah, I think it's going to be a rough night for the Hokies. Even though the weather cold night up in
Maybe some
Blacksburg,
snow, as we're seeing in
maybe
chat.
some snow, sloppy conditions, things can happen. That could change the Tigers' game plan a little bit, maybe throw a wrinkle in it. But if and I've got to you've got to make a prediction based on things being relatively normal. You can't say, well, it's going to snow, things are going to get crazy. We don't really know that it's going to snow yet. It's a long way out on Monday, but you never know what kind of things can happen. But as of now, neutral field, decent weather. You got to think that the Tigers pull this one out relatively simply.
I agree. Well, one, Trevor has played in the cold before. His freshman year led the Tigers up to a blustery Chestnut Hill and put a beat down on the Boston College Eagles to clinch the ACC Atlantic. The other thing that I want to point out, and I don't think this is getting a lot of attention, there's a little bit of friction in the coaching staff and with the administration and with the team in Blacksburg between Justin Fuente and his team. It almost feels like this is kind of the end of the era. Not a lot of people want him around. This team kind of feels like they've quit a little bit, especially after the Liberty game. I think they're kind of Florida stating their season away. I don't think they want to be there. And if they go to a bowl game, I know I saw a projection with them playing South Carolina. I could see them losing to South Carolina. Honestly, right now they're just kind of on a downward slope. I think Clemson is getting into the championship phase. You're probably going to see the best offensive night in a while for Clemson, and with a healthy defense, I think you'll see a dominant performance. I expect Clemson to cover and cover easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm taking Clemson as well, minus the 22, considering the comparable games that we have out there. Considering that Virginia Tech could not handle Pittsburgh handled Virginia Tech, was able to find a way. I think that is a great blueprint for Clemson's defense. Considering that Clemson's defense is improving and getting healthy, you can't really pick against Clemson right now. And knowing that Clemson relatively easily threw up 52 points and could have had way more than that. I've got to go with the Tigers and to cover the 22-point spread. Alan, you're saying there in the background, so I'm guessing that you're with us.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I have Clemson minus 22. I think it's going to be about a 55-10 type game.
I tend to agree. I'm going to say 52-20.
Well, let us know what you think in the chat. I'm sure Clemson fans out there probably agree with that as well. But let us know what you think. Clemson minus 22 is what we're seeing over on ESPN. James is saying, what about 24? Are we confident minus 24? I would be honest with you. I think minus 24, you're good there too. Again, considering, that Pittsburgh was able to put just about that much. I think that was, 41-17. So, I mean, I'm thinking Pittsburgh can do it. This team can do it. Now, the only caveat would be you're looking at the snow part of it. That might hurt some things. I don't know. I mean, it really just keep a monitor of the Weather Channel. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, let us in the chat. Let us know what you think about our Clemson versus Pittsburgh or Clemson versus Virginia Tech, and what you think the score will be. What if you think they will cover the spread?